Night from Cumbernauld in Scotland. Tonight features two of British boxing's most exciting young prospects. Both of them are unbeaten and on their way towards title challenges at different weights. At flyweight, there's the local boy, Pat Clinton, former WABA champion, who's won all 9 of his professional fights. At super featherweight, there's Floyd Havard, the Welsh southpaw with 10 wins out of 10, 6 of them inside the distance. Now, what sort of progress has the local boy, Pat Clinton, been making, Jim Watt?
Well, I would say Clinton is probably the best prospect we have in Scotland at the moment. Since turning pro, he's come along steadily, improves with every outing. Tonight he takes part in his first 10 3-minute rounder against a tough little Mexican who has already taken the current European champion the full distance. So it should give us a good chance to measure Pat's progress, but I'm sure he should come through unscathed.
And is Floyd Havard really living up to his promoter Frank Warren's expectations? Is he really going to be champion one day?
I would say so, yeah. As yet, Havard hasn't really been tested, but he's just now coming into the stage where they're talking about title eliminators and things like that. And I think you'll be quite impressed. Those of you who haven't seen Havard, I think they'll be quite impressed tonight.
Right, let's get on with the boxing then. So it's Pat Clinton going for his 10th successive win against the experienced Jose Manuel Diaz from Mexico, who only last month went the distance against the European flyweight champion, Duke McKenzie. Jim Watt's back in his commentary position now, alongside Reg Gutteridge.
So what could be a 10-round test now for the unbeaten Pat Clinton, the local hero from Croyd and Bartonshire, about 5 miles from this arena, and Jose Manuel Diaz, about 8,000 miles from this arena, from San Antonio, Texas, whose last contest here was against Duke McKenzie, the reigning European champion, from a different Croydon, in fact. And he really was a tough little nut there, so we'll find out now. He came in quite late, lives in Mexicali. So southpaw Clinton now, very much a Scottish hero, and former twice ABA flyweight champion, a double with Dick Curry, the fighter, now turned writer. But if we're judging on how Diaz there fought Duke McKenzie, who's a pretty fair puncher, then he's going to give Clinton some trouble. Clinton's only stopped 4 of his 9 opponents now, and is still a fully fledged flyweight at 8 stone 1 3/4, and just giving a quarter of a pound, no more, away to the little Mexican. There's one very respectable result now on Diaz's record. I suspect you know him very well, but he was a former world champion at light fly, a Mexican called Ursua, and Diaz defeated him on points. Well, even if it was his lucky night, it's a good result, that. And he's boxed in Korea, so I don't think he's too worried about boxing here now, just outside Glasgow. So a minute to go in the opening round. We've seen these type of opponents before, Jim, these tough little Mexican guys. Always give you a run for the money, don't they?
Yep, already you can see he has a nice tight little defence. Clinton has him outreached, so I would imagine for the first couple of rounds the Mexican will keep it nice and tight, just try to pot shot now and again. He won't worry too much about losing the first couple of rounds, and then probably as the fight warms up he'll try to get himself into it. But it looks like a defensive night he has in mind.
The first foreign import, in fact, for Pat Clinton, whose manager Bert McCarthy has actually promoted this show. Oh, what a good performance that is. This fellow doesn't go on the deck very much, and McKenzie couldn't do it. He was waiting for an 8 count, I suspect, there. And the bell came at the right time for him, and he looked pretty anxious indeed there, Diaz. Jim, let's have a look at this replay.
It was a good punch from Clinton. I don't know if Diaz would have gone over if he hadn't slipped through the ropes. It's difficult to say. I don't know how badly injured he was. The bell sounded too quickly, but that'll do Clinton no harm whatsoever.
Jimmy Tibbs there from London working in Clinton's corner. And there's the record. As I say, he's only stopped 4, but the way he fought there, if he stops this fella, it's a real performance on his part, that.
Second out, round 2.
So out early for play in round 2 there, and had to be held back by Billy Rafferty. And all the referees are on the mark these days since Lloyd Hunnigan bolted from his corner against Johnny Bumfus. Well, he's come a long way to oblige now, Jose Manuel Diaz, and I don't think he's looking to get tagged again. He's going to be a bit crafty. Turned out an ideal opponent for Clinton. Having seen him in now with the European champion, we knew the strength of him there. But I tell you, Mackenzie didn't have Diaz in any kind of trouble like this. He well won the contest, mind you. I have to say that, the European champion. You know, this compact little Mexican was giving him a lot of problems. Sharp performance by Clinton, isn't it?
Yep, Clinton's been improving all the way through. Diaz is going to have to do something a little bit more offensive, because if he just keeps backing off and covering up, he's just going to allow Clinton to do exactly as he pleases, and you can't allow Clinton to do that. He's going to have to try to discourage Clinton slightly if he hopes to put up any sort of a show.
I don't think Clinton's going to allow this Mexican to discourage him too much. Jimmy just won't let him get close enough, but look at it, he outreaches him. Oh. It isn't often you see that these Mexican fighters meet this class of opposition in the style. They're not used to the upright, sharp boxing, and especially the southpaw stance. They're used to the guys of their height who come in and meet them head-to-head and toe-to-toe stuff. Well, it doesn't seem to be getting into the fight at all now, Diaz, Jim.
No, this is a good, solid performance from Clinton. Clinton simply hasn't allowed him to work. He's kept him under constant pressure all the way through. But I think Diaz is used to getting away with covering up and tying people up in the ropes, but Clinton is not allowing him to get away with that. He's getting his punches off far too sharply, and simply not giving him a chance to do anything whatsoever.
And I have to say, although obviously the crowd are with Clinton, they're being very fair about this, so you can't nag about that. Well, he's shaking his head there. He's not shaking his head looking at his own record there. He just couldn't quite work out what was happening with a man called Abel Rojas in his corner. Been around the world, and at the risk of repeating my old line, this fella's been one of those have gum shield will travel types, but he's run into more trouble than he expected. So a few heavy Cockney words there from Jimmy Tibbs, hopefully understood by Pat Clinton, who only lives about 5 miles away from Croy in Dunbartonshire. Into the third then, and it's scheduled for 10. So Pat Clinton now making the full 10-rounder class, now going up in status at the age of just 23 on April the 4th. See, there's a frustrating part with Diaz there, Jimmy. Threw 3 or 4 punches and hit the air.
Yeah, well, I think there's only one thing now in Diaz's mind, try to keep out of trouble and get as many rounds behind him as he possibly can. But sometimes I wonder how long he's going to manage.
You see, had we not had a chance to see Diaz against Duke Mackenzie in London, we might have wondered what his background is, but we know he's a tough little guy. And Clinton's at the moment, let's face it, is simply outclassing him. Natural home for great flyweight Scotland, of course. And I was lucky enough to have seen dear old Manny Lynch, admittedly at the finish of his career, and then Jackie Patterson and Walter McGowan. And in fact, Pat Clinton's dad actually fought the great southpaw Jackie Patterson. Well, I imagine Clinton's saying, well, I don't mind a few more imports like this one, Jim. It's the first one he's tasted.
Well, the Mexican has come to life slightly. He's not having a great deal of success, but he seems to have his timing together a little bit better. He's not been caught with the sucker punches Clinton was landing earlier on, but Clinton's still punching very sharply.
Well, Diaz apparently, when he's not fighting what seems like once a week, I would think to him, is he makes kitchens and bedrooms and so forth. And right now, I think he'd prefer to make a revolving door and get out of here. So Pat Clinton then at his best. We'll take a break. Round 4. And Scotland's Pat Clinton now doing a really sharp exhibition of good southpaw boxing. Fought, remember, for Britain in the Olympic Games and defeated a little fighter from Swaziland, but then ran into the Yugoslav eventual silver medalist, Red Sapkowski. A bit tasty, I tell you, he is, and he lost to him. But he's stopped 4 of his last 5 now, Clinton, so as he's getting a bit mature in the pro game, he's just getting that little bit of power that counts. But he'll still do well to stop this fella, despite the fact that he's all over him, really. He's a bit slippery at times, Diaz, Jim. He doesn't look like it, but he's a bit awkward to fight, isn't he, being such a stumpy guy?
It's difficult for Clinton to look good against this type of opponent. Although he's looking very good indeed, but it's difficult to get through cleanly on an opponent when all he's thinking about is defence. If Clinton can find a way to draw some leads from Diaz, then he'll probably go home some sharp punches of his own. But it's very difficult. The little fellow, as you can see, is just really thinking about surviving most of the time.
Well, you know, what is it they say, Jim? Life's a tin of sardines and we're always looking for the key. Yeah, natural survivor, Jim, isn't he, there, the way he knew that Clinton was going to come straight back at him there. Oh, good right hand punch. There was a bit of a delay there, as though Diaz was saying, I don't believe this fella's put me on the deck again. He seems to be stumbling more than punch down, Jim, because he's getting up very quickly.
Yeah, but both of those punches seem to have caught him on the arms. But I think it's because he's trying so hard to get out of there. See, there he is again. That's not a clean punch. But Clinton has him in so much of a mess. He doesn't know where to go, and he's tripping over his own feet. That was a better punch from Clinton there.
It seems as though you're quite right. It looks as though he might be going across Clinton's feet as he's getting caught there with the right foot forward. So, Jim, let's have a look at the first knockdown there. He tries to slide away.
Yeah, well, the punches seemed to land on his arms, but he was so intent on getting out of there. See, that wasn't a clean punch. He caught that punch on his gloves. No trouble whatsoever.
Now, this is the second knockdown. He was quite surprised by that. As I say, he was just in a state there all the time, Diaz. He was almost appealing to the referee. Well, he seemed to be nodding away to the Mexican mate of his there. It doesn't seem to be in too much trouble.
Second round,
Round 5, scheduled for 10, remember. And Pat Clinton, well, winning almost as he wants against this tough little nut from Mexico, Diaz. And after taking a couple of those, what is known in the American fight scene as flash knockdowns, we'll see if Clinton can just step that a bit closer and clip him cleanly. Oh, yes. The leading right-hand shot nailed him all right there, Jim.
Well, he's claiming he slipped. He's still not in any trouble, but that was a punch that put him over that time.
Takes a bit of doing, Jim, travelling somewhat 8,000 miles from Mexicali now to turn up and say, well, how long should I stay in with this fellow? I can't nail him, I can't do anything. He did it with Duke McKenzie on a big show. You wonder where they get that spirit from, but they do it, the Mexican fighters, don't they? Yeah,
but well, he seems to have warmed to his defensive task. In the first couple of rounds, it looked as though he was going to be blasted out at any second. But now he seems to have warmed to the task a little bit. He's getting his gloves up a little bit quicker. He's not really doing too much offensively. But the fact that Clinton's finding it difficult to catch him cleanly, there's a possibility he could go well into the later rounds, maybe even the distance.
I like the way Diaz is almost glaring at Clinton like that, and understandably hanging on for dear life at times. Yeah, it's a good performance by Clinton. I wouldn't think Billy Rafferty's going to be hanging around too long now with a minute to go in the 5th. He's just not fighting back now, as you say, Jim. He's looking to survive only now, Diaz. Diaz, if he had any ideas about the Scot being just another slugger, he's made a mistake, because he's very skillful, Clinton. So he's coming back now as we get the countdown clock to end this round. Switches that lead into an uppercut at times, Clinton. Watch for that. So the usual quick watering there of Clinton. Jim, here's the knockdown again.
Yeah, well, again, see, Clinton is never really hurting Diaz. He's not getting the chance. Getting him into an awful lot of mess at times, but not getting the clean ones home yet.
Well, he's been through this all before, isn't he? Yes, I know what you're saying. He's saying to the manager there, I shouldn't let this guy catch me as easily as that.
Second out, round 6.
Into the 6th round then on the scheduled 10, with the gold-trunked hot Scot, Pat Clinton now, twice ABA flyweight champion, Olympic representative, and now going for his 10th successive win as a pro. And certainly hasn't lost a round so far. And just a reminder, if you have joined us late, then that Diaz, in fact, gave the British European champion, Duke McKenzie, a really good run for his money on the big Wembley show recently. But really, he's won nothing for Clinton. He's just had too much skill, too much firepower. And now he's doing the escape artist bit. I don't blame him either, and if he could get on a bike now and go, he would, I think. Strangely enough, Jim, you're bound to get certain critics now saying, well, if Clinton's that good, why isn't he stopping this fellow, eh?
Yeah, well, I suppose you could say the same about Duke McKenzie, who is supposedly more of a puncher than Clinton. But I would say of the two, Clinton's doing the better job. But it's very difficult when the opponent is only thinking about defence. I think maybe at this point, Clinton's best chance of a stoppage victory is just to open up completely and leave the referee with no choice but to stop it, because there's too many punches landing without reply. But it's difficult to land them cleanly.
Well, he got a clip round the ear there for his thoughts. As I said, watch the way he switches the right-hand lead there, Clinton. He comes up with it sometimes as a... There it is, an uppercut. That was a half hook. I thought he would have tried to pummel away a bit inside there, Diaz, Jim, but he's not. He just grabs when he's in close.
No, I think he realises he's the opponent now, and it's just put up some sort of show, but don't take too many chances. I think that's his plan. See, those were all good punches coming out from Clinton, but none of them landed cleanly. Diaz is very good at what he does. Very good survivor.
Worked in the Terry Lawless camp and worked with Frank Bruno, Jimmy Tibbs.
Second out, round 7.
Into the 7th round of this flyweight contest then. And so far, as they say, it's almost going to the script where Diaz, having stayed the 8 rounds course it was with the champion Duke McKenzie, is now doing his best to go the limit now with Clinton. Feinting, bobbing, weaving, trying to draw Diaz a little bit so that he can counter. You almost feel as though some wag in the crowd, Jim, is going to say, come on, Diaz, stand still and let him hit you.
Well, you have to feel sorry for Clinton because he's doing everything right. Everything he does, every move has a class about it, but Diaz is so good at surviving. He's robbing Clinton of a little bit of glory. I just hope Clinton doesn't become frustrated and start doing silly things to try to get through. He's doing a good job. This fight won't do him any harm. He's learning all the way through. Just, I hope he doesn't start doing anything silly to try to land big, silly knockout punches.
So it's new territory anyway for Clinton. First time he's had to go past 6 rounds in a contest. I wouldn't have thought he'd have any problem with his staying power. Looks superbly fit and is not under enough pressure, surely, to get tired. See, now that's time, Jimmy, sort of burrowing away there like a dog looking for a bone, little Diaz. That's really what he should be doing, trying to get inside there and do some work with the punches.
I think Clinton is trying to do a little bit more thinking in this round. He's trying to draw Diaz, but it's just not working.
Well, I said right from the start, Jim, that if he can stop Diaz when Mackenzie couldn't, that really will be a good win for Clinton, but it's beginning to look a bit unlikely. What do you think? We'll stick our chins out, but I don't think Diaz will.
Well,
Well, do you think he will see it out, Jim, as I was saying to you there?
yeah, well, it's beginning to look like it. Clinton has settled down slightly. He did a little bit more thinking in that round and punching. Up until now, he's just been seeing the target and letting the punches flow. It's not really been working. He's winning the fight by a mile. That round, he tried to open Diaz up a little bit, but that didn't work either. I think he's just going to have to settle down, keep doing what he's doing, don't change anything, and go home with a points win.
Concentration, breathe deep. Come on, breathe deep.
Second down.
Get down.
Round 8. And I think by now Pat Clinton really wondering what he's got to do to try and catch up with this fellow. It's been very difficult. And you know, if you look back at the game at any weight, there's always these guys that come in and want to survive. And if you want an analogous, really, perhaps it's not totally appropriate, but certainly Bone Crusher Smith did that against Mike Tyson. Used his height and weight to get past the magic man, as it were. See, there he is, moves both ways. You can tell he's been around a bit. Tries to throw a punch back occasionally, the Mexican, but by which time Clinton stepped out the way again. It doesn't look like the kind of fighter, Jim, Diaz, that marks up at all, does he? He's taken some shots and there's, you know, I mean, there's no scars around him at all.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as you said it, Reg, when you think of the amount of punches that's come his way. That was good stuff from Clinton there. I'm thinking the best chance he has to stop him is just to keep throwing punches, and if nothing's coming back, the referee would have to step in. But he's not being able to get the punches home cleanly. So he's never been able to upset Diaz at all.
He's certainly a bit leathery-faced, Diaz, to say the least. Oops, he fell over his foot there again, Jim, and that style's beating him, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the right foot forward stance of Clinton, tripping over each other.
Well, you get the impression now that Clinton's probably thinking of Mackenzie in the back of his mind. Anything he can do, I can do better.
I mean, I'll say one thing to Diaz's credit. He hasn't been guilty of grabbing hold of Clinton too often. See, when he finds himself in situations like this.
And it looks as though Billy Rafferty's going to stop it. Diaz is not going to be too pleased about that. I mean, he's been all around the world and had tougher fights. It doesn't look as though he's been too grateful there to Billy Rafferty in the 8th round, but obviously he was winning as he wanted to, Pat Clinton, and you really can't argue a referee who says he's seen enough. So the obligatory kiss there from promoter and manager Bert McCarthy. A replay of the finish there, Jim. Were you surprised when they stopped it like that?
Well, Diaz wasn't hurt at all. He wasn't under any more pressure than he's been in all the way through. But I think maybe Billy Rafferty's just decided it's a lost cause now. Why let it continue any further? We all know who the better man is. So he's just got him out of there.
He gave him a sort of a half a chance again there, didn't he, the referee? And Clinton just kept steaming in. And as you say, at that point, the end was inevitable. So here's Pat Clinton then talking to Gary Newbon.
Well, you managed to do something, Pat, that Duke Mackenzie couldn't do. You stopped Diaz.
Yes, well, I knew it would come, 10 rounds. Felt fit as a fiddle with Jimmy, you know, new trainer. So I knew it would come.
How frustrating is it, though, for you now when you suddenly find yourself against an experienced survivor?
It's frustrating for me, but I know how good my own talent is. And as I said tonight, it was just a matter of time. So I just bided my time. That's experience. You learn to live with it, you know. The other fella is very slippery, so. Your
career is progressing really nicely at the moment. The problem is you're not going to have too many flyweights in Britain. You're going to have to fight a lot of imports.
That's true, you know, but the imports then bring the best out of you. Tonight, you know, it took me a bit more rounds, you know. I flung some better shots tonight, working on shots with them. So if I can do it with them, you know, the champion Britain, the champion of Europe, they have to watch out.